Dear friends, welcome to InQuest. In this video, let's discuss about 22nd October 2021 daily current affairs useful for your UPSC, KPSC and all other competitive exams. So let's see the index of today's discussion. Article number 1 is related to Niti Io. So launch of Niti Iog's Atal Innovation Mission Digibook. So in this article, let us see what will be actually published in this Digibook. At the same time, let's know more information about Atal Innovation Mission. So article number 2, astronomers found a planet that survived its solar death. So difference, since you would have definitely studied the solar system, we all know that sun is the center of the solar system. And after millions of years, this sun is going to die. So when sun dies, actually it incinerates the close by planets. But now there is a research wherein the group of astronomers found that a planet that actually survived such death of the star. So this can be related to our solar system also. Let's see how it can be related to our solar system. Article number 3, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approval sets the implementation of PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan in motion. So here, a while ago, this PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan was launched. Now it is the time of execution. So let's see who are all the execution agencies of PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. So with this, let's go to article number 4, that's related to Ministry of Finance, issuance of calendar of sovereign gold bond scheme 21-22. So they have released the calendar of events for the year 21-22. So in this article, let's learn more about sovereign gold bond scheme. So with this, let's go with the let's start with the first article that is related to Niti Aayog. So they have launched, launch of Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission Digi book. So that is titled as Innovations for You. So and major sector in focus is healthcare sector. So let's see this in complete details. So Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission has launched Innovations for You, an attempt to showcase the success stories of Atal Innovation Mission startups in different domains. So the main purpose of this particular Digi book is to showcase different success stories with respect to startups in different domains. And these startups have worked to create new disruptive and innovative products and services and solutions that can pave a path for sustainable future. Now, what do you mean by disruptive or and innovative products? So disruptive kind of looks negative, but it's not negative. So it is kind of creating expensive or sophisticated products or services in more accessible and affordable manner. So that can actually open up a new market. So that is called as disruptive marketing or disruptive products or services. The first edition of this book is focused mainly on innovations on healthcare. So the first edition is majorly focusing on healthcare, and soon other sectors shall follow. The book is compilation of 45 health tech startups incubated at Atal Incubation Centers spread across the country. So the first DG book will have 45 health tech startups. Now, these startups are leveraging frontier technology such as artificial intelligence, IoT, that is Internet of Things, and ICT, that is information communication technology, and others to provide socially relevant solutions to problems like anemia, malaria, dental care, mental health, neonatal and child care, and monitoring human vitals, among others. So these are the main focusing areas that are, these startups are up to. Now, the DigiBook series that is titled as Innovations for You by Atal Innovation Mission brings to you the best of innovations and entrepreneurs to the forefront. The subsequent editions of the book will focus on other emerging sectors like agri-tech, edu-tech, mobility, and electric vehicles, among others. So after health sector, so these are the other sectors to be followed. So with this, let's know more about Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog. So the Atal Innovation Mission, that is in short called as AIM, is the Government of India flagship initiative to promote innovation and entrepreneurship culture in India. AIM is mandated to create an umbrella structure to oversee innovation ecosystem of the country and revolutionizing the innovation ecosystem, touching upon the entire innovation life cycle through various programs. So it is not just producing goods or services. Majorly, it focuses on innovation. So that is the main theme of this particular Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Io. The Atal Tinkering Laboratories. So this actually creates innovators. Then we have Atal Incubation Centers support to establish incubation centers, ensure innovations are taken to the market and help create enterprises around these innovations. So if the innovation is done, that is not enough. So there has to be a lot of entrepreneurship creation. So this Atal Incubation Centers will actually support to create market for the innovations. Then we have Atal Community Innovation Centers are promoting benefits of technology led innovation to unserved and underserved regions of India. And Atal New India challenges are creating product and service innovations having national socio-economic impact and arise ANIC. ANIC is nothing but Atal New India challenges promote innovation in phased manner in the MSME or startup sectors, that is medium scale or small or medium scale or micro enterprises, micro small or medium enterprises, that is actually taken care with Atal New India challenges. So these are all the different details or inclusions of Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog. So with this, let's go to article number 2. Astronomers found a planet that survived its star's death. So to take an example of our solar system, so this is Sun, the center of the solar system, and we have different planets. So a few planets that are very close to Sun and a few planets that are far away from Sun. So when Sun dies after millions of years, it actually burns away the planets that are close by, but we do not know the fate of the planets that are far from the Sun. So this research actually shows what would be the fate of the planets that are actually far away from Sun. So let's see this in detail. So when our Sun enters into death, throw-ins in about 5 million years, it will incinerate our planet and then dramatically collapse into a dead ember known as a white dwarf. So incinerate means it actually burns our planets and it gets converted into white dwarf by itself. But the fate of more distant planets such as Jupiter or Saturn is less clear. So you can see Jupiter and Saturn are kind of away from Sun, and the fate of these planets are actually not clear. But now the astronomers found some evidence for identifying fate of distant planets. So recently in the journal Nature, astronomers reported observing a tantalizing preview of our solar system's afterlife, a Jupiter-sized planet orbiting a white dwarf some 6,500 light years from here, known as MOA 2010 BLG 477LB. The planet occupies a comparable orbit to Jupiter. So it is as good as our Jupiter planet, and that Jupiter orbit is still revolving around the Sun that actually died and got converted into dwarf, white dwarf. So that the name of the planet is actually coded like this: MOA 2010 BLG 477LB. The discovery not only offers a glimpse into our cosmic future. So with this particular discovery, we can relate the same concept to our solar system, and it raises the possibility that any life on survivor worlds may endure the death of their stars. So with this, the fate of our solar system is likely to be similar to this particular planet that is under research. The Sun will become a white dwarf. The inner planets will be engulfed, and the whiter orbit planets like Jupiter and Saturn will survive. So in comparison to what the researchers have found in other solar system, so if you use the same kind of comparison here, see, the closer planets are going to be burned away when the Sun dies, whereas Jupiter or Saturn or any other planets that are away from the Sun are going to survive. The planet was first spotted because of the light warping effects of its gravitational field, a phenomenon known as microlensing. So we cannot easily see the planets because they don't have their own source of light. So observing them is kind of called as microlensing. After searching for years for its host star with Keck 2 telescope in Hawaii, Blackman and his colleagues concluded it was orbiting a white dwarf that is too faint to directly observe. So, the white dwarf was not clearly visible, probably due to its brightness, but they could able to see, Jupiter-like planet that was actually orbiting around the white dwarf, you know, white dwarf. Then astronomers using a different method reported spotting another intact Jupiter-like planet known as WD 1856b closely orbiting a white dwarf. So this is another example wherein they have once again seen a similar Jupiter-like planet that is actually coded as WD 1856b. But MOA 2010 BLG 477 LB circles its hidden stellar husk at nearly 3 times the distance between Earth and the Sun, making it the first known planet to occupy Jupiter-like orbit around the white dwarf. So the distance what we actually see between Sun and Earth, the coded planet that is MOA and 2010 etc. has 3 times the distance that has between the Earth and the Sun, and this is found to be revolving around this white dwarf. But WD 1856b by contrast, so it was kind of this, the planet was actually far away from the Sun. In contrast to that, WD 1856b orbits its white dwarf every 1.4 days. That shows that it is very close to the white dwarf, suggesting that it migrated into its current position after the death of its star through though the exact mechanism of that journey are still being hashed out. So the WD 856 is believed to be very close to the dwarf, white dwarf, but this proximity as believed to come after the collapse of the star. It was not there before, and the exact mechanism of that proximity is yet to be understood. So this is what is the details about this particular astronomical research. So let's go to article number 3. So Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, Cabinet approval sets the implementation of PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan in motion. So in this article, let's see who are all the implementing agencies of PM Gati Shakti. So a few days ago, we actually saw the inauguration of PM Gati Shakti. To tell you in brief, PM Gati Shakti is consolidation of different infrastructural projects at one particular place. For example, highways construction, or the construction of, or the agencies which actually lay cables, or gas pipelines, etc. They all will be put together, and now there will be chronology of their particular the infrastructure development. Earlier there used to be, after the project is completed, like after the roads have been constructed, there is again an intervention of other infrastructure development that is used to spoil the earlier infrastructures like constructed roads and everything. Now there will be chronology, so that is called as PM Gati Shakti. So it was actually launched, but implementing agency was unclear. So with this article, let's see who will be implementing, or who are all the people responsible for implementing PM Gati Shakti. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, including institutional framework for rolling out, implementation, monitoring, and support mechanism for providing multimodal connectivity. Honorable Prime Minister launched PM Gati Shakti for multimodal connectivity on 13th October 2021. Implementation framework includes, so these are all the implementing frameworks. Number 1, empowered group of secretaries, that is in short called as EGOS. Then we have a network planning group, that is in short called as NPG, and technical support unit, that is called as TSU, with required technical competencies. So there are 3 main components to be remembered. One is called as EGOS, one is called NPG, other one is called as TSU. Now let's see the functioning of each and every sector here. So first one is EGOS, that is empowered group of secretaries, will be headed by Cabinet Secretary, has been mandated to review and monitor implementation of PM Gati Shakti NMP to ensure logistics efficiency. So this, the main purpose or main responsibility of EGOS to ensure logistics efficiency It is empowered to prescribe framework and norms for undertaking any subsequent amendments to the NMP. And EGOS shall also set out the procedure and definite framework for synchronization of various activities. So this is the main purpose of this project itself, that is synchronization of various activities, and ensure that various initiatives of infrastructure development are part of the common integrated digital platform. So, digital platform. So earlier, all these sectors were working independently. Now there will be synchronization of all such activities together. So that will be taken care by EGOS. So EGOS will also look at the interventions required to meet the demand side in efficiently transporting bulk goods on the requirement of various ministerials like steel, coal, and fertilizers, etc. So now let's see the functioning of CCEA. So as also approved formation, composition, and terms of reference for network planning group, that is NPG, consisting of heads of network planning wing of respective infrastructural ministries, and it will assist the EGOS. Further, in view of the complexities involved in overall integration of networks, enhancing optimization to avoid duplication of works for holistic development of any region, as well as reducing logistics costs through micro plan detailing, the technical support unit TSU that we will be studying now later, in the next segment, is approved for providing the required competencies. So majorly we need to avoid duplication of work, and the work should be done with all optimization to save the loss of resources. So that is the main purpose or intention or main responsibility of CCEA to take care. The structure of TSU has also been approved. TSU shall have domain experts from various infrastructure sectors as aviation, maritime, public transport, rail, roads and highways, ports, etc., and subject matter experts as urban and transport planning, structures like roads, bridges and buildings, power, pipeline, GIS, ITC, finance, market, PPP, public and private partnership, logistics, data analytics, etc. So all will be in association with TSU. So now these are all the implementing agencies or groups of PM Gati Shakti. So with this, let's go to article number 4. So this is related to Ministry of Finance. So issuance of calendar for sovereign gold bond scheme 21-22. The bonds will be sold through scheduled commercial banks. So they have released actually a calendar. So that calendar is not important. What is important is knowing about the bonds. The bonds will be sold through scheduled commercial banks. So it is not physical buying of golds, actually it is buying of the bonds. So they are as good as physically buying the gold in terms of worth. So bonds will be sold through scheduled commercial banks except small financial banks and payment banks. Stockholding Corporation of India Limited, Clearing Corporation of India Limited, designated post offices and recognized stock exchanges, namely National Stock Exchange of India Limited and Bombay Stock Exchange Limited. So these are the places where these bonds can be availed. What are the features of bonds? The bonds. The feature, we have to learn the feature of these bonds. Number one, what is the product name of sovereign? So it is called as Gold Bond 21-22. Issuance to be issued by the Reserve Bank of India on behalf of the Government of India. Then eligibility, who is eligible to buy these bonds? The bonds will be restricted for sale to resident individuals, then Hindu undivided families, trusts, universities and charitable institutions can buy these bonds. Now what is the denomination? The bonds will be denominated in multiples of grams of gold with a basic unit of 1 gram. So the smallest denomination is 1 gram. And tenor, the tenor of the bond will be for a period of 8 years with the exit option after 5 years to be exercised on the next interest payment due. So I think it is 10 year. So tenure of this bond. So once it is purchased, and it will be for a period of 8 years with exit option only after 5 years. So till 5 years, it cannot be used, or you cannot withdraw the bonds. And minimum permissible investment will be 1 gram of the gold. And the maximum limit of subscription shall be 4 kg for individual, 4 kg for Hindu undivided family, and 20 kg for trust and similar entities as for fiscal notified by the government from time to time. And issuance of forms, the gold bonds will be issued as Government of India stock under GS Act. GS is nothing but Government Securities Act 2006. The inventors will be issued a holding certificate for the same. The bonds are eligible for conversion into demat form. Now, what is the interest rate? The investors will be compensated at a fixed rate of 2.5% per annum, payable semi-annually on the nominal value. Now, can it be used as a collateral? Yes, bonds can be used as collateral for loans, kind of property pledge. So you can pledge your bonds to avail the loans. The loan to value is a ratio to be set equal to ordinary gold loan mandated by the Reserve Bank from time to time. So there is no difference between the physical gold and the gold bonds to avail loan. So you can use these bonds similar to the gold ornaments. So the tax treatment, the interest on gold bonds shall be taxable as per the provisions of Income Tax Act 1961. Then tradability, bonds will be tradable on stocks exchanges also. And SLR eligibility, that is statutory liquidity ratio. So bonds acquired by the banks through the process of invoking lien, hypothecation, pledge alone shall be counted towards statutory liquid ratio. So if you pledge, or if you keep the bonds in the bank for availing a loan or etc., so banks can treat this as statutory liquidity ratio. Now, what is statutory liquidity ratio? It is the government term for the reserve requirement that commercial banks are required to maintain in the form of cash, gold reserve, or bonds. So this is where we have the gold bonds. So they have to have minimum reserve. It could be either in the form of cash, or in the form of gold, or in the form of bonds. So this is where the gold bonds come into picture. And Reserve Bank of India approved securities before providing credit to the customers. The SLR to be maintained by banks is determined by the RBI in order to control the expansion. So these are all the articles for the day. So if you have any questions, you can put in the comments box. We will be happy to answer to your questions. Thanks for watching. Namaskara.